Hey, sports card fans, it's John Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. Before I get into my top 10 PSA vintage baseball card sales on eBay for cards from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s for December 2025, if you missed my previous video on the top 10 PSA sales on eBay for cards from the 1930s and 40s, I'm going to be making some changes to my top 10 videos starting next month. The first one is just a minor cosmetic change. The slides that I use to show the cards off, I'm just going to redesign a little bit. I've been doing these videos for a little over 4 years now, and I think my slides just need a little facelift. So just a minor change there. But I am going to be making two larger changes to these top 10 videos, again, starting next month. And one of them I really would like your thoughts and opinion on in the comments. The first one, and one that's really long overdue, I'm not sure why I didn't implement this sooner, but starting next month, my top 10 list are going to include not just PSA graded cards, but SGC graded cards. A lot of you that collect vintage cards love cards in an SGC slab, and so I thought I would include those sales as well into my top 10. Now, that's not to say I'm going to do a separate top 10 of PSA graded cards and a separate top 10 of SGC graded cards. I'm going to look at both, and however the cards fall, it's just going to be based on the top 10 highest sales prices for that month. So there could be a month where the top 10 include 8 cards in PSA slabs and 2 that are in SGC, and the next month may be the reverse. So I am going to include SGC slabbed sales along with PSA slabbed sales. Now, the second one, and the one that I want your thoughts on in the comments. Currently, I'm doing 3 sets of videos. One with the top 10 for cards from the 1930s and 40s. A second one, which is this one here, cards from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. And then a third video of the top 10 from cards from the 1980s. And I'm thinking of either going in 2 directions, and I haven't quite decided which way I want to go yet. One option is for me to do 6 separate videos. One video for the top 10 sales from the 1930s, separate video for the 40s and 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. One benefit of that is those videos are going to be shorter, maybe 10-15 minutes in length. This video here, traditionally for the 50s, 60s, and 70s, sometimes can run 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how I discuss the cards in those 3 top 10 lists. And then the final one for the 80s, again, is a much shorter video. So they would be spread out over 6 days, would be shorter videos. I know a lot of you like to watch shorter videos. Some of you don't like the longer form content that run 20 minutes plus. Or the second option would be even them out. So I would still keep the 30s and 40s video, but instead of doing a 50s, 60s, and 70s, I would just do a 50s and 60s. And then my third video would combine the 1970s and 1980s. The one positive there is it evens out the videos. Maybe they'll be 15-20 minutes in length on average, which I don't think is too long for a video for you. The one potential downside is combining the 70s and 80s. I know a lot of you, including myself, really consider vintage to end at 1980, and then after 1980, there's various thoughts on what you want to call it, modern, but post-vintage. And didn't know your thoughts on how it would be to combine the 70s and 80s. You do have some players that are from the 70s that fall into the 1980s that have been on the top 10 list for the 1980s. Nolan Ryan is one, Ricky Henderson is one, Reggie Jackson. So that there are some crossovers from the 70s into the 80s, But then you also get players like Ken Griffey Jr., that's featured a lot, Cal Ripken Jr., players like that that didn't play in the 70s. So would love to know in the comments, in terms of structuring these 6 decades, would you prefer that I keep 3 videos and do 2 decades in each video? Or would you like me to see me do 6 separate videos, one on each decade, to keep the length of the videos down? It's not really going to add any more or less work which way I go. So I do these videos for myself. I find these videos interesting on what sales take place every month, and if there's any new record high sales or some interesting cards that make the top 10 list. But I want these videos to be enjoyable by you. So if you're a big fan of shorter videos, let me know. Maybe you want me to do 6 separate videos. If you like this longer content for these types of videos, maybe 2 decades per video would be your choice. So again, we'd love to know in the comments which format you would prefer. Now, there's one other thing I want to talk about here before I get into the 3 top 10 lists. I apologize for this intro being so long, but again, I want to talk about some of the changes. In my videos, I often refer to, or I always refer to actually, what the current average VCP price is for that particular card in that grade that's sold. I like to use it as a reference point of what was the highest sale of that card. Also, what is the current average? So the current average price, sort of a comp, if you will, in VCP's database versus the sale price. Did this last sale go way above? Was it below? Was it right on average of the current sales for that card? And if you notice, there's a good number of times when that particular sale that eBay says sold, it's not in VCP's database. And I finally got around to checking into why that's the case. Why does VCP not have certain sales from eBay? My understanding is that VCP constantly pulls data from eBay to update their database, so it's a current set of comps that you can use. Well, I did some checking, and this is what I found. Regarding buy it now and best offer listings, these are published on our platform, again, VCP's platform, after the expiration of the original timestamp set by the seller on eBay. Okay? In the event that an item is sold on the first day of a 7-day listing, again, this is just for buy it now or best offer, its posting will occur only after the entire duration of the listing has elapsed. So let's use an example where it's a buy it now or best offer and the card sells on the 12th of the month. So say it's a December 12th sale and it's a buy it now. But that original listing was a 30-day listing on eBay. Now, it just happened to sell on the 12th. Let's say it was listed on the 6th, and it sells 6 days later. VCP will not pull that data and add it to its database, and hence part of the current average price calculation until the following 6th of the month, so 30 days after when it was originally listed and for how long that listing was. So you'll notice in my top 10 lists that more often than not, when a card is sold through a buy it now or best offer, depending on the listing, it may not be in VCP's data, but auctions typically are. So for auctions, I found out that VCP pulls data from eBay roughly every 15 minutes. So auction sales most likely will be in VCP's database, but buy it now and best offer sales there may not be enough time from when I pull the data to do my videos for it to show up in VCP's database. So I sometimes get comments of, man, why doesn't VCP have the data on these sales? It's not VCP's fault, although I'm not sure why they do it this way for the best offer and buy it nows, why they wait until the full duration. But regardless, that's the explanation that I found. So with that, everything said there. Again, we'd love to know in the comments what you think about these videos moving forward. Let's get to the top 10 sales for the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. Okay, starting off with the top 10 from the 1950s. At number 10, we have this 1953 Topps Mickey Mantle in a PSA 5. This one sold on December 30th for $9,775. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for a PSA 5 is $8,752. The record high sale was $12,700 back in February of last year through eBay. Now, there was one other significant 1953 Topps Mickey Mantle sale in December. This one, a PSA 6 miscut, sold on December 20th for $9,000. At number 9, we have this 1954 Wilson Franks Ted Williams in a PSA 2. This one sold on December 1st for $13,100. It was an auction. There were 69 bids. The current VCP average price for PSA 2 is this sale here at $13,100 and represents a new record high sale for a PSA 2 copy. The previous high was $6,900 back in May of 2023 through REA. At number 8, we have this 1953 Topps Jackie Robinson in a PSA 7. This one sold on December 15th for $14,399. It was an auction. There were 38 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 7 is $13,341. The record high sale was $25,200 back in February of 2021 through Heritage. At number 7, we have this 1955 Topps Sandy Koufax in a PSA 7.5. This one sold on December 3rd for $15,000. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for a PSA 7.5 is $14,505. The record high sale was $18,686 back in June of 2021 through a PWCC listing on eBay. At number 6, we have this 1951 Bowman Mickey Mantle in a PSA 2. This one sold on December 21st for $16,000. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for a PSA 2 is $11,825. The record high sale was $16,800 back in November of last year through Fanatics Collect. Now, there were two other significant 1951 Bowman Mickey Mantle sales in December. The first one, a PSA 2.5, sold on December 2nd for $16,000. Then a PSA 4 miscut sold on December 11th for $15,999. At number 5, we have this 1955 Topps Roberto Clemente in a PSA 7. This one sold on December 27th for $18,152. It was an auction. There were 47 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 7 is $18,294. The record high sale was $28,082 back in May of 2023 through Memory Lane. Now, there were two other significant 1955 Topps Roberto Clemente sales in December. The first one, a PSA 6 copy, sold on December 12th for $8,100, and then another PSA 6 copy sold on December 2nd for $8,100. At number 4, we have this 1951 Bowman Willie Mays in a PSA 4. This one sold on December 20th for $19,995. It was a buy it now. The current VCP average price for PSA 4 is $9,458. The record high sale was $20,000 back in February of 2022 through PWCC. Now, there were two other significant 1951 Bowman Willie Mays sales in December. The first one, a PSA 5 copy, sold on December 3rd for $14,790, and then another PSA 5 copy sold on December 5th for $13,211. At number 3, we have this 1955 SK Hot Dogs Cal Abrams in an authentic condition. It's a hand-cut card. This one sold on December 20th for $20,000. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price is not in VCP's database at all. There are no recorded sales in VCP's database. This sale did not make it into the database when I pulled it. In a PSA Authentic, it has a population of 2. In a PSA 1, there's only been 1 graded and none higher. At number 2, we have this 1954 Topps Hank Aaron in a PSA 8. This one sold on December 9th for $50,000. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for a PSA 8 is $42,315. But the record high sale was $100,000 back in March of 2021 through eBay. Now, there were 4 other significant 1954 Topps Hank Aaron sales in December. The first one, a PSA 7, sold on December 24th for $16,141. Then we had a PSA 6 sell on December 14th for $12,000. Another PSA 6 sold on December 2nd for $10,350. And then finally, a third PSA 6 copy sold on December 1st for $8,500. And at number 1 for the 1950s, we have this 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle in a PSA 3. This one sold on December 21st for $71,100. It was an auction. There were 83 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 3 is $63,279. But the record high sale was $162,000 back in March of 2021 through Heritage. Now, there were 2 other significant 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle sales in December. The first one, another PSA 3 copy, sold on December 23rd for $55,000, and then a PSA 1 copy sold on December 18th for $27,721. All right, on to the top 10 from the 1960s. At number 10, we have this 1961 Topps Whitey Ford in a PSA 9. This one sold on December 2nd for $7,989. It was an auction. There were 30 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 9 is this sale here at $7,989 and represents a new record high sale for a PSA 9 copy. The previous high was $6,684 back in October of 2021 through SCP auctions. Now, there have been 12 cards graded a PSA 9. None have been graded a PSA 10. At number 9, we have this 1968 Topps Nolan Ryan in a PSA 8. This one sold on December 29th for $9,600. It was an auction. There were 63 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 8 is $9,645. The record high sale was $17,765 back in September of last year through Memory Lane. Now, there were 2 other significant 1968 Topps Nolan Ryan sales in December. The first one, a PSA 9 off-center, sold on December 26th for $7,500, and then a PSA 7 copy sold on December 3rd for $5,000. At number 8, we have this 1967 Topps Rod Carew in a PSA 9. This one sold on December 12th for $14,525. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for a PSA 9 is $14,738. The record high sale was $26,400 back in March of 2021 through Heritage. There have been 64 copies graded a PSA 9. Only one has been graded a PSA 10. At number 7, we have this 1969 Topps Mickey Mantle last name in yellow, the more common version, in a PSA 9. This one sold on December 21st for $14,978. It was an auction. There were 49 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 9 is $17,805. The record high sale was $32,509 back in October of 2021 through Memory Lane. There have been 65 copies graded a PSA 9. Only 2 have been graded a PSA 10. At number 6, we have this 1960 Topps Roberto Clemente in a PSA 9. This one sold on December 4th for $15,725. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for a PSA 9 is $21,845. The record high sale was $51,600 back in January of 2023 through Heritage. There have been 49 copies graded a PSA 9. None have been graded a PSA 10. At number 5, we have this 1960 Topps Ellis Burton in a PSA 9. This one sold on December 24th for $16,000. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for a PSA 9, since this sale was not in VCP's database, was $451, and that represents the previous high sale of a PSA 9 copy back in November of 2008 through eBay. This is most likely a registry purchase, as in a PSA 9, there are only 2 copies that have been graded that high, and none have been graded a PSA 10. At number 4, we have this 1967 Topps Tom Seaver in a PSA 9. This one sold on December 20th for $16,870. It was an auction. There were 52 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 9 is $19,875. The record high sale for a PSA 9 was $34,160 back in October of last year through Heritage. There have been 99 copies graded a PSA 9. Only 3 have been graded a PSA 10. At number 3, we have this 1964 Topps Giants Willie Mays in a PSA 10. Now, the Willie Mays card is a short print in the 1964 Topps Giants set. This one sold on December 14th for $17,750. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for a PSA 10 is $19,735. And that was the record high sale back in August of last year through eBay. There have been 105 copies graded a PSA 9. Only 5 have been graded a PSA 10. At number 2, we have this 1966 Topps Mickey Mantle in a PSA 9. This one sold on December 21st for $22,850. It was an auction. There were 71 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 9 is $22,143. The record high sale was $33,210 back in December of last year through REA. There have been 79 copies graded a PSA 9. Only 1 has been graded a PSA 10. And the number 1 card for December from the 1960s is this 1968 Topps 3D Roberto Clemente in a PSA 8. This one sold on December 14th for $47,500. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for a PSA 8 is $44,640. But the record high sale was $50,416 back in September of 2022 through Leland's. There have been 19 copies graded a PSA 8, 9 have been graded a PSA 9, and 6 have been graded a PSA 10. All right, on to the top 10 from the 1970s. At number 10, we have this 1974 Topps Deco Edge Tom Seaver in a PSA 8. This one sold on December 14th for $3,500. It was a buy it now. The current VCP average price for PSA 8 is $1,675. This sale here at $3,500 represents a new record high sale for a PSA 8 copy. The previous high was the current average in VCP of $1,675 back in March of last year through eBay. There have been 15 copies graded a PSA 8, 7 have been graded a PSA 9, and none have been graded a PSA 10. At number 9, we have this 1979 Topps Ozzie Smith in a PSA 9. This one sold on December 7th for $3,650. It was a buy it now. The current VCP average price for PSA 9 is $2,982. The record high sale was $15,600 back in August of 2022 through PWCC. There have been 428 copies graded a PSA 9. Only 5 have been graded a PSA 10. Now, there was one other significant 1979 Topps Ozzie Smith sale in December. It was another PSA 9 copy. This one sold on December 1st for $3,100. At number 8, we have this 1971 Topps Richie Allen in a PSA 8.5. Now, this is a high number short print in the 1971 Topps set. This one sold on December 5th for $4,000. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for PSA 8.5 is $3,881. This sale here at $4,000 represents a new record high sale for a PSA 8.5 copy. The previous high was $3,250 back in February of 2023 through eBay. There have been 4 copies graded a PSA 8.5, 4 have been graded a PSA 9, and none have been graded a PSA 10. At number 7, we have this 1976 Topps Gene Klein's in a PSA 10. This one sold on December 28th for $4,150. It was an auction. There were 15 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 10 is this sale here at $4,150 and represents a new record high sale for a PSA 10 copy. The previous high was only $655 back in October of 2018 through eBay. While there have been 49 copies graded a PSA 9, this one here is one of only 2 that have been graded a PSA 10. At number 6, we have this 1972 Topps Nolan Ryan in a PSA 9. This one sold on December 23rd for $4,370. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for PSA 9 is $4,577. The record high sale was $6,000 back in September of 2022 through eBay. There have been 195 copies graded a PSA 9. 9 have been graded a PSA 10. At number 5, we have this 1971 Topps Roy Foster in a PSA 10. This one sold on December 16th for $5,671. It was an auction. There were 15 bids. The current VCP average price for a PSA 10 is this sale here and represents a new record high sale for a PSA 10 copy. The previous high was $1,236 back in October of 2018 through eBay. There have been 20 copies graded a PSA 9. Only 4 have been graded a PSA 10. At number 4, we have this 1970 Topps Roberto Clemente in a PSA 9. This one sold on December 19th for $5,850. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for a PSA 9 is $5,310. The record high sale was $14,400 back in April of 2023 through REA. There have been 79 copies graded a PSA 9. Only one has been graded a PSA 10. At number 3, we have this 1973 Topps Alkay line with bandage. This one sold on December 20th for $9,000. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for PSA 8 is $3,056. This sale here at $9,000 represents a new record high sale for a PSA 8 copy. The previous high was $3,056 back in October of 2024 through eBay. Now, there have only been 3 copies graded a PSA 8 and none have been graded higher. At number 2, we have this 1975 Topps Hank Aaron in a PSA 9. This one sold on December 21st for $9,500. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for a PSA 9 is $12,443. The record high sale was $16,470 back in August of last year through Heritage. There have been 46 copies graded a PSA 9. Surprisingly, only one has been graded a PSA 10. And at number 1 for the 1970s for December 2025 is this 1974 Topps Johnny Bench in a PSA 10. This one sold on December 23rd for $20,000. It was a best offer. The current VCP average price for a PSA 10 is $14,030. This sale here at $20,000 represents a new record high sale for a PSA 10 copy. The previous high was $14,030 and was the same card, the same PSA slabbed card that sold in October of last year through Heritage. So it was purchased for $14,030 in October and sold on eBay as a best offer for $20,000. There have been 104 copies graded a PSA 9. Only 4 have been graded a PSA 10. Well, there you go. The top 10 PSA vintage baseball card sales on eBay for cards from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s for December 2025. As always, would love to know in the comments what you think about the cards that made the 3 top 10 lists. And with that, that's all I have for you. So until next time, thanks for watching.